Good evening. I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. I'm sorry I'm starting a little bit late tonight, but I wanted to talk to you tonight about lifestyle design. Usually I talk about decluttering, downsizing, and interior design, but this is about lifestyle design. And the topic is, if you're starting over, the top 10 things to declutter from your life before you do. So have you ever had or chosen to start over in your life? And at what point did you realize that you wanted to or that you needed to start over? And how did you do it? So if I would love to hear from you if you have at any point in your life had to start over. Email me at ritawilkins@ritawilkins.com if you care to share it with me, because your stories do make a difference and they inspire me to do what I do and to talk about topics that are of interest to you. So tonight's topic is the top 10 things to declutter in your life if you're starting over. I don't know why I've always been intrigued by this idea of starting over, getting that fresh start, because in some ways it's like reinventing or redesigning your life to the way that you want it to be, to the way that it will fit you better right now. So for those of you who know my story, I've reinvented myself and my business many, many times, and sometimes because I had to, and sometimes because I wanted to. When I downsized and became known as the Downsizing Designer, I wanted to declutter, I wanted to downsize, so I chose to get rid of 95% of my possessions so I could live that simpler life with less. But there were other times that I had to start over. When I got a divorce, when I became a single mom of 2 teenage boys, I had to find a new home. I had to change my business model so I could earn a larger income. And I had to build a new life. See, as a matter of fact, it's really hard. And it's also scary because there's so many unknowns. But on the other hand, it's also exciting because it's an opportunity to ask yourself what you want, what you don't want, what's working, what's not working in your life, what's not working any longer that might have worked before. And it's also an opportunity for you to get clarity on what's important to you right now, because our values on some level change. So face it, life changes, and as life changes, so must we. So why do people start over when they have to start over? So an example would be a death of a spouse. Someone that you've loved for many years has died. You're lost, you're alone, you're afraid, and you're forced to rebuild your life. Another reason people might have to start over is they have health issues or because they're aging. So they're getting older, they're starting to have health issues, and they're getting concerned about living in that big house, the stairs, their safety, their mobility. And you're forced to move to a smaller home, a one-story home, maybe even a senior living. Another reason that people sometimes have to start over is a job loss. So you're forced to rethink your finances. Do you move to a smaller home? What can you afford? These kind of circumstances force you to make changes in your life and sometimes start over. So those were examples of people that had, due to circumstances and events in their life that occurred, they had to start over. But some people choose to start over because they want to. They want something new, they want something better, and they want something a better fit for them right now at this stage of their life. So here's some examples of people who choose to start over. An empty nester. So the kids are gone, the house seems much too big, they want to travel, they want to explore, and they want a simpler life. So they choose to downsize, they choose to declutter, so they can have more freedom and a life with more flexibility, more mobility, and also less responsibility. So a second reason people might choose to reinvent themselves or to start over um, is retirement. So after a year that they sometimes feel lost, they lose their identity, they're kind of out of sync because they don't have a schedule. So they're looking for fulfillment, identity. So they might choose to start a new business. They might move closer to their kids or grandkids. They might choose to downsize and declutter because that gives them the freedom that they haven't known in years. And a third reason that people might choose is career change. So many people that I talk to are dealing with this. Someone that sometimes you feel trapped in a job, you feel stuck in a job that you can't stand, and you get up every day and you really don't want to go there, but you have to. Sometimes they're burnt out. They've lost the excitement and the enthusiasm that they once had, maybe for that same job, but they no longer have that. They need a new start. And start for years might just give them that spark that they've been looking for. So these are all examples of life circumstances and life stages where people either have to or they choose to start over in life. And when starting over, there are 10 things that you should consider decluttering or letting go from your life if you want to successfully start anew. So the one is the feeling of past failure. So we've all failed, I guess you could say, at different things, but we have to put that aside and instead look forward to the new life that you're going to be creating. The second one is blame. So the only person responsible for anything that's happened in your past is you. And once you accept that responsibility, it's just easier to move forward. The other one is victimhood. So again, you're responsible. No one else is responsible. These are all things that you could just let go of in order to start this new life. The other one is toxic naysayers. You probably had people in your life that they bring you down. They say you can't when you know you can. So surround yourself with those people who care about you and will support your efforts. And then another thing to let go of is having no boundaries. Create no as a standard answer when you don't want to do something. Learn to say no and mean no. Another one is a can't do attitude. If you want that new life, you need to have that can do attitude. Another one is that life is that this whole process is going to be too hard. So when you reframe that and just say, okay, it might be hard, but it sure is going to be worth it. And number 8 is guilt. So forgiving yourself for anything that you might have done in the past so that you can then move forward into this new life. Another one is bad habits. So letting go of those habits that haven't served you well and won't serve you well in the future. For instance, procrastination or perfectionism. And the last one is to let go of anything that no longer serves you. So when you have clarity about your values, who you are, what you want, then you can just go for it. So if you are at a crossroads in your life, and if you are wondering if it's time to start all over again, you're definitely not alone. We all go through different seasons and circumstances in our lives that cause us to adjust. We have to adjust, we have to change, and we have to start anew. So the only way out of it is to actually go through it. So whatever your decision, we only get one life and one chance. So we get to choose how we respond to all of this. And for sure, it might be easier to just stay right where you are, to not make any changes. But at what cost would that be to your happiness and to your future? So starting over is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to live your best life right now. So life can be challenging, and change is hard, but it's okay not to know exactly where you're going. It does take courage, strength, and resiliency, as well as resolve to make these big changes and to get out of that comfort zone that you might have been in for all these years. But won't it be great that someday you can look back on this and say, I'm so glad I took the chance to start over again. Maybe you can even laugh at yourself and say, why didn't I do it sooner? So I hope this helps. This is an example of lifestyle design. So I kind of apply the same principles I do in my interior design to lifestyle design. If you want to know more, just reach out to me. It's Rita Wilkins at ritawilkins.com. I'd love to hear from you if you've had times in your life where you had to completely start over, either by choice or having to start over. But these stories do help me tailor what I talk to you about each week. So I hope this helps. Take care. Have a good week.